What does it mean for something to be rare? Is it scarcity? Desirability? A combination of both? Before we get into the meat of this video, let me give you some context. Team Fortress 2 was Valve's pioneer microeconomy, starting on September 30th, 2010 with the Manconomy update. Before this update, there was no Manco store, no Steam wallet, no trading, no unusuals, and no microtransactions. With this new trading feature, players could now start assigning artificial prices and rarities to items. With the transition to a free-to-play model on June 23, 2011, Tf2's player counts exploded. New players were exposed to Valve's perfect microeconomy, with virtual items used as symbols of status and affinity. As time went on, new items and effects were added to the game, such as the Golden Frying Pan and the Two Cities update in late 2013. By now, the TF2 community made Valve tens of millions of dollars a year in key and community market sales alone. From then on, sites such as Backpack.tf, Marketplace.tf, Manco Store, and several others were created, allowing for the streamlined acquisition of these rare items. And that brings us to today. TF2's microeconomy lives on, appearing healthy to the outside world. However, I've started to notice things in-game that contradict that notion, and that brings me to the subject of today's video. About 6 months ago, I cashed out the vast majority of my backpack, and frankly got my balls busted by one of the largest trader mains in the game. I didn't really have a choice though, as my bills aren't paying themselves, and in general, my priorities have shifted away from having cool items in Team Fortress 2. I used to be into trading in this game, but in the last few years, I began to enjoy its more basic side. By that I mean vanilla Team Fortress 2, ignoring the hats and extra stuff and just improving at the game and playing for fun. I felt a bit sour after getting a lot less for my backpack than it was worth, and that made me start to see expensive items in this game in a different light. With this new perspective, I started to notice a peculiar number of what people would call god hats in casual TF2, and that prompted me to run an experiment. I decided to save clips of these hats and expensive items that I saw in the game, and over the next couple months, I'd compile those clips and see what I found. You'll see shortly, but after running this experiment, I believe TF2's microeconomy is far less healthy than it appears to be to the outside world. I'm going to back up that point with 3 main ideas. 1. Rare items are far more common in TF2 today than they used to be. 2. TF2 is losing players, increasing the density of these rare items. And 3. The top % of traders and websites have a monopoly on the microeconomy and artificially increase the prices. Before we get into the experiment, let me clarify how much I was playing. I spent the majority of my time in casual on weekends, averaging about 4 hours per weekend. During the weeks, I spent most of my time in jump maps, but I averaged around 2 hours per week of casual TF2. That brings our total up to 6 hours per week for this experiment. I also was training for, traveled to, and raced a marathon during this time. So there were many days where I didn't play at all. For each rare item I show, I'll tell you how many exist in the game. I found this number using Backpack.tf's reported number of items. I'm going to treat that number as ground truth in this experiment. Just know that this number does not account for items in private backpacks. For item pricing, I also use Backpack.tf. If the item has a price range, I take the median as its actual price. Additionally, I'll look at Marketplace and Manco for other sales data to get a better idea on prices. All dollar amounts are in USD and key prices are $1.92 at the time of writing. The last thing I'd like to mention, all of these items were seen in casual mode only. Oh, and don't mind me chasing around these players like an absolute schizo. Our journey begins on Saturday, March 8th, where I ran into the most famous hat in the game. When I saw this medic, I knew I had to make this video. The idea had been on my mind for a while, so this was the official starting point. As you can see, this medic has the famous Burning Flames team captain, of which 10 exist. It's valued at 7,825 keys or $15,024. Not to mention, this player also has a Golden Frying Pan. I saw it in the kill feed, but since it's not in this loadout, we're not going to count it for this video. Still, Saturday, March 8th, just 20 minutes later, I run into a player with a strange Scorching Flames Law, of which 40 normal exist, and I couldn't find how many strange. It's currently being sold on Marketplace for $700, and the non-strange version is priced at 285 keys or $547.20. 1 week later, on Saturday, March 15th, I run into this sniper with a golden pan, 450 exist, a Nebula Universal Translator, 265 exist, and a Fireproof Secret Diary, 650 exist. The pan comes in at 3,920 keys or $7,526.40, with 2 currently for sale on Manco at 7,600 and 8,000 USD. The Universal Translator is priced at $840.96 or 438 keys, with the cheapest on Marketplace at $835.99. And the Fireproof Secret Diary is 305 keys or $585.60, with the cheapest on Marketplace coming in at $600. Let's say I want to recreate this loadout. If I purchase the cheapest version of those items, it will run me a grand total of $9,035.99. This isn't including the other items, a Strange Professional Killstreak Opera hand, and the Corona Australis, both well over $100. In 1 week, I ran into 3 players with a combined single loadout value over $25,000. This is just one loadout. These players most likely have money invested in other items as well. Okay, well, we still have a lot to go, so for the sake of your time and mine, I'm going to go through the rest as quickly as I can. March 23rd, Burning Flames Sergeant's Drill Hat. 20 of them exist. It's an outdated price, with the cheapest for sale at 365 keys or $700.80. On March 28th, I found a Burning Flames Furious Fukimigasa, of which 14 exist. It's 222 keys, with the cheapest for sale at $439. On the same day, this pyro has a Green Energy Brown Bomber, of which 38 exist. It's 125 keys or $240, with one selling for $200. Again, on the same day, this is a Frostbite Doctor's Dapper Topper. 10 exist, and the cheapest for sale is on Manco at $900. The cheapest on Backpack.tf is 700 keys or $1,344. On April 4th, I run into this Scout wearing a Frostbite Pomade Prince, of which 6 exist. There's a buy order for 205 keys or $393.60. The next day, on April 5th, I run into this Engineer with an Orbiting Fire Pencil Pusher, of which 40 exist, currently selling at 225 keys or $432, and on Marketplace at $420. He also has a Burning Flames Brain Interface, of which 13 exist, with the cheapest being sold at $219, and one more being sold at 120 keys or $230.40. On the same day, I see a demo with a 1 of 11 Morning Glory Albrero. It's priced at 140 keys or $268.80, with its partner effect, the Death at Dusk Albrero, being sold for $350 on Manco. Still on April 5th, the soldier has an Arcana Rebel Rouser. It's a 1 of 1 hat. There are none for sale, and it's priced at 1,050 keys or $3,936. The next day, on April 6th, I run into a soldier with a Green Energy Team Captain, of which 23 exist. There's one for sale on Backpack.tf at 1,700 keys or $3,264. There is also one for sale on Manco at $1,400. The same soldier also has a Collector's Original, of which 183 exist, and it's priced at 342.5 keys or $657.60. The cheapest for sale is 435 keys or $835.20, with one for sale for $875 on Marketplace. On April 12th, I see a soldier with a Misty Skull Brown Bomber, which is a 1 of 2 hat. It's currently selling for 1,500 keys or $2,880, which is well over its price of 665 keys or $1,276. On the next day, April 13th, I run into a Purple Energy War Pig, which is a 1 of 6 hat. It's priced at 215 keys or $412.80 and selling for 400 keys or $768. 4 days later, on April 17th, I see a Frostbite Tyrant's Helm, which is a 1 of 5 hat. It's priced at 970 keys or $1,862.40 with none for sale. I was then gone for the next 8 days from April 18th through 25th, racing the Boston Marathon. I was able to start playing again on April 26th, and the next day I saw one of the most impressive loadouts I've ever seen. Alright, so now we're on to April 27th. This is one engineer. I'm going to need to take a deep breath for this one. We'll start with a Ring of Fire Defragmenting Hard Hat 17, which is a 1 of 10 hat. The cheapest sell is 130 keys or $249.60. Next, a Vivid Plasma Mining Light, which is a 1 of 20 hat. It's priced at 270 keys or $518.40, with one for sale on backpack.tf at $720, one on Marketplace for $712, and one on Manco at $589. Next, a Burning Flames Mining Light, with the cheapest sell at 1,350 keys or $2,592 on backpack.tf, or one for sale on Marketplace at $2,600. So we go to the next round of Thunder Mountain. This engineer switches up his loadout. Now we have a Scorching Flames Mining Light. This is a 1 of 25 hat. It's priced at 770 keys, with one for sale at 900 keys or $1,728. A Chiroptera Venenata Data Mining Light, which is a 1 of 1, priced at 530 keys, which is most likely outdated, or $1,017.60. A Haunted Ghost Mining Light, which is a 1 of 22 hat. It's priced at 425 keys, with one for sale at 475 keys, or $912 on backpack.tf, and one's for sale for $800 on Marketplace. A Collector Short Circuit, which is 1 in 200 roughly. The price is outdated. There's one for sale on Marketplace at $500, and the cheapest on Manco is $400. A Strange Professional Kill Streak Gunslinger, which is priced at 212 keys, with one for sale at $383 on Manco, $429 on Marketplace, and Normal Strange is on sale on backpack.tf at 190 keys or $364. I added the cheapest sell price for both of this engineer's loadout. They combine, including that strange Geiger counter, to be $7,476.91. Insane. On May 3rd, I only got a glimpse of this sniper, but he has quite the loadout. It includes the Smith's Caribou, like the old one, not any of the new shitty ones, which is a 1 of 200. It's priced at 412.5 keys or $792. The cheapest on backpack.tf is 590 keys or $1,132.80, with one for sale on Marketplace at $939 and one on Manco for $843. He also has a Golden Pan, which, as we've seen before, is 1 in 425, priced at 3,920 keys or $7,526, with two for sale, one at $7,600 and $8,000 respectively, and a Fireproof Secret Diary, 1 of 650, which is 305 keys or $585.60, with the cheapest for sale on Marketplace coming in at $600. Still on May 3rd, which is the last day of the experiment, by the way, we're almost there. This medic has a Celestial Summit Gauzed Gaze, which is a 1 of 3 hat. There are currently none for sale, and it's priced at 1,250 keys or $2,400. He also has a Starstorm Insomnia Dark Falkirk Helm, which is a 1 of 14 hat. The price is outdated on these, with the cheapest for sale at 119 keys or $228.48. He also has an Arcana Berliner's Bucket Helm, which is a 1 of 1 hat. None are for sale, and the price is very old at 600 keys or $1,152. Still on the same day, May 3rd, I see a Burning Flames Blast Defense, which is 1 of 49. It's priced at 187.5 keys or $360, with one for sale at that exact price. And last but not least, still on May 3rd, I see a Power Surge Hong Kong Cone, of which 3 exist, priced at 270 keys, with the only for sale at 600 keys or $1,152. Alright, sorry for making you sit through all that. I know it was a lot, but it's important and helps illustrate the point I'm trying to make with this video. Let's go back to our idea that rare items are more common than they used to be. This point's validated by the last 5 minutes of clips that I just showed you. All I really wanted to do is prove it via observation. And I'm going to leave this point here. Just take a look at this clip. Do you see what I mean? The soldier has an unusual, the other medic has an Australian medigun, Say it one more time, these items just aren't rare anymore. Now that we're done with our first point, let's move on to the second. Tf2's bleeding players, which is causing an increase in density of rare items. As I just showed, rare items are so common that if you play casual for an hour or so, you'll probably see some wild shit. Part of this is because Tf2's slowly bleeding players. To better understand this issue, I'm going to arbitrarily separate the Tf2 player base into 3 different groups. I'll call them Population 1, 2, and 3. Population 3 represents the players that are around for the long haul, veterans who have thousands of hours in the game and have played for an extensive period of time. Like me, I've played for 11 years. Population 2 players are not truly beginners, but have less than 500 hours, let's say, and that's completely arbitrary. These players are the few that made it past the opening stages of TF2 and are starting to really dig into the game. And lastly, we'll have Population 1. They're the noobs, people just downloaded the game, many of which will leave, which is expected with the free-to-play game. Each of these groups play a critical role in the microeconomy, and I'm going to explain why. Let's begin with the veterans. This group typically contains the whales that sustain a microeconomy. And at one point, I was a perfect example of this, having a backpack worth over $2,000. These players have no problem dumping money into the game, as they spend a lot of time playing and care about it, and that's totally reasonable. People spend money on things they care about. The microeconomy runs into trouble with this group though, as it slowly bleeds players. This is okay though, because in the live service model, there's a constant flux of new players in and old players out. Unfortunately, TF2 is seeing a decline in player counts as time goes on. New players are not replacing the veterans and whales that are leaving the game. Now let's move on to Population 2, the smallest group. These players are not new to the game. They understand it, at least at a surface level, and have the capacity to understand the status and affinity the items can get you. This makes them the most impressionable group of players. They're the population that can easily be hooked by the shiny keys and the badass Burning Flames hat soldier flying around with a 30 kill streak on his Australian rocket launcher. This group harbors many future spenders, and it's usually just a matter of time before they start making Valve money. Unfortunately, this group has always been undersized for a game as popular as TF2. That hurts Valve's pockets, as their future profit lies here. But why is this group so small? It's so small because TF2 is the least beginner-friendly game ever. Population 1 players don't know anything about how this game works, but how are they supposed to? The tutorial's useless. For such a mechanically complex game, how can you only help players with 4 of the 9 classes? And help players is a generous overstatement. The tutorial misses critical parts of each class's kit. How are you supposed to know to air blast as Pyro when the tutorial doesn't tell you? What about rocket jumping, cloaking, and disguising as Spy? The best tips for beginners are the tips that show up when you load into a game. Not only this, but the default settings for TF2 are heinous. 70 FOV? You can't even see anything. The game's in a horrible need of optimization for new players, and this would be very easy to do. Just edit the code that determines game settings when you first install it. So it'd improve new players' experience because their game would function on the same playing field as everyone else. Then, if these new players can stomach the horribly optimized game, they get hit with the gut punch that is casual mode. There's no other way to say it. Casual mode sucks. Roll after roll, unbalanced teams, server resets after every round. Seriously, who would put up with this for more than an hour before just deleting the game? I started playing this game when quick play was the standard. The only emphasis quick play had on winning and losing was your own personal satisfaction, and that's really important. New players didn't care one bit if you won or lost. You're free to experiment and learn the game at your own pace. Want to get as good as the pub stompers and comp players? Swap teams and fight them. Learning how to use unlocks? Feel free to test them at your leisure without worrying about losing. If I had to deal with casual mode when I started, I would have deleted the game and not given it a second thought. Being punished for losing as a new player in this game is the best way to turn someone away, and TF2 is doing a phenomenal job at that. Look again at our player counts dropping. Not only is this bad for the game, it's horrible for the economy. Every time a veteran player cashes out and calls it quits, those items get dumped back into circulation with one less player. Then you have to ask yourself, if 5 people play the game, will any of the items be worth anything? Well, probably not. 1,000? There's 430 golden pans, so 1 in 2 people have a pan. What's it worth then? This is obviously hyperbole, but TF2's on its way to that state, and we see Valve starting to notice. Free-to-play players were recently unmuted. It seems like Valve saw they were turning away too many players at the door, even though a large percentage of those players were spending money in order to get unmuted. The key here is that Valve isn't stupid. They understand that by unmuting free-to-play players, they'll make more money in the long run than they make in the short term by charging them to talk. They also understand that this game has massive earning potential. It's just a matter of tapping into those population 1 and 2 players to get it. But the multi-billion-dollar company doesn't care about the revenue from TF2, you might say. I couldn't disagree more. During the bot crisis, Tf2 stood on the same level as games that were making upwards of $45 million a year. I promise you, a company does not get to Valve's size and status by ignoring a single $1 million, much less 50. These companies squeeze every last cent out of their clients that they can. And people have said it before, Valve will not make any changes unless it makes them money. Tf2's losing players that provide Valve a steady form of income. New players have a very difficult time overcoming Tf2's steep learning curve. This combination has caused Valve to unmute free-to-play players and disrupt a revenue stream that they already had in order to tap into potential money outside the Tf2 sphere. Okay, let's address the last point. The top group of traders and websites have a monopoly on the microeconomy and are increasing the prices by a significant margin. An uphill battle that population 1 and 2 players have to face when they're trying to sink their teeth into TF2 and its microeconomy is the fact that there's essentially a monopoly on the sought-after items in this game. Traders have inventories worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and don't use or care about the items they have. Their only use is to turn a profit. The same group of 15 traders own the vast majority of expensive items in the TF2 sphere. They have full liberty to increase the prices across the board and force everybody to pay more. Combine that with undercutting everyone trying to cash out, like I experienced, and you have a monopoly on the entire economy. Something else that's been going on in these trading circles is known as desperation pricing or margin preservation. When sales volume drops, sellers increase their price to preserve margins. It's a self-reinforcing negative cycle, with higher prices leading to lower sales, which lead to increased prices again. Most expensive items live in veteran players' backpacks where the player enjoys having the item. Therefore, sales volume across the game has plummeted, feeding into this loop. Then, there are large websites like all the TF sites, marketplace.tf, backpack.tf, scrap.tf, which are run by self-admitted pedophiles. Watch Turkey Tom's video, it's very eye-opening. And sites like Manco Store, which is full of predatory practices. These sites, including the Steam community market, take a huge percentage from player sales, further increasing the prices. The higher the price, the more the website makes, so they're happy to see this artificial price bubble in effect. The synergy between these two groups, the traders and the websites, keeps prices skyrocketing for everything in the game, and eventually this bubble is going to have to burst. When you join a game of TF2 and half your team has god tier hats, they won't mean anything anymore. As the game keeps bleeding players, this is bound to happen in the future and cause a complete crash in prices. Traders are buying backpacks for now, but when nobody wants to purchase their items anymore, what happens? Well, the traders will stop buying backpacks, and then players aren't able to cash out. Imagine the raw panic that will propagate through TF2's and Valve's other economies when items lose all their value. I don't think this is going to happen in the immediate future, but I encourage those watching to consider the relationship you have with the game. It might be worth identifying items that you don't really need and getting rid of them before everything goes to shit. Cash out while you can and enjoy the game for its deep gameplay, unique casual atmosphere, and the incredible art style. That's what I did, and it really improved my relationship with the game. Let's bring this full circle. As TF2 is slowly losing veterans, new players become more and more important for the health of this game. Currently, we're losing more population 3 players than gaining in population 1 and 2. The importance of these new impressionable players cannot be understated. This group are the ones who Valve and the traders want to get into the TF2 economy and start spending money along with the whales they already have. Again, there isn't anything bad about spending money on a video game. I'd be happy to see new players get involved with TF2 trading in the economy. However, when everything's stacked against a new player, both from a gameplay and a monetary perspective, why should they stick around like we all did? Yes, the doom and gloom is palpable. The game's going to die a horrible death and everybody who has money invested won't be able to get it out. That is not true at all if something's done about it. And the fix is so simple. Optimize the game, bring back quick play, let talented mappers and experienced players develop a new tutorial. I cannot be more blunt here. It would take less than a week for Valve to get this done. The community can make a brand new, effective tutorial, and Valve can just implement it like they do with all of the community-made maps already. I'm sure there are hundreds of TF2 veterans who would jump at the idea of developing a tutorial that would replace the shit show we currently have. And the benefits would be seen immediately. The population 2 that I've been referencing would explode. The fundamental product that is Team Fortress 2 is one of the most incredible experiences in gaming. It's such a shame that it is a couple employees' work week and overhead to fix, and yet they refuse to do anything about it. These small changes would make Valve so much money, orders of magnitude more than the salary and overhead they'd have to cover for the changes. It would also bring life back into trading circles, fresh blood that traders and websites could capitalize on while not needing to jack up prices. In fact, they could drop prices. With more eyes on their items, traders could lower the price to the point where they'll still make a profit, but start moving a high volume of items again. However, as the game continues to die a very painful death, I'd get my money out while I still can. There's no foreseeable change coming as badly as it's needed. While you will get ripped off by these traders, you can sell your items for cash while keeping the items you need to still facilitate the core TF2 experience you like. They will bust your balls, but cashing out now will save you in the long run when TF2's economy crashes. This brings me to the most important part of this entire video. It is common knowledge that Valve will not touch this game unless it will make them money. I've just shown that it is in Valve's best interest to maintain the integrity of this game. If the TF2 market crashes, that will send ripples through its other economies in CS and Dota. In this video, I've outlined the simple, low-effort, effective steps it would take to bring fresh blood into this game. I've also showed that TF2's economy is in a precarious position right now. Items that were once rare are no longer. Traders and websites keep increasing prices as the desperation pricing dilemma festers. Players should cash out now while they still can, as I'm not getting my hopes up for Valve to do anything. And that's it. Thanks for watching. This will probably be the only TF2 video I make like this, so don't feel the need to interact with this channel at all. If you thought the video was relevant or interesting, feel free to like it and share it. If you disagree with me, throw something down in the comments. I'm happy to talk down there. I just thought that I should make this as it's been in the back of my head for a while. Anyways, thanks again for watching and take it easy.